Then law enforcement forces detained Upazila Jubo Shakti President Sukumar Das Babu with sample ballots in Atwari, Panchagar. He was later sentenced to 3 years in prison, and according to the report, law enforcement officials detained him along with the sample ballot during voting at the Atwari Model Pilot High School polling station in the district. Aditya, back to you on this development.
Well, absolutely, Vaishali. Indeed, this was some people, unidentified people, have been detained by the security forces in Bangladesh. Who are trying to create violence in this, election process, so that the Bangladeshi voters are discouraged from voting in these elections. So clearly, all the security measures have been beefed up in Bangladesh, especially around the polling stations. The security has been beefed up so that nothing untoward incident takes place. But clearly, at this juncture, the situation is being monitored very, very closely, and it needs to be seen how things unfold in this scenario. Vaishali.
Stay on with me, Aditya. Now, more clashes between the two leading parties have been reported. At least 15 BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami leaders and activists were injured in a clash linked to in Sonatola village of Sarankola, Bagheerath. Siddiqur Rahman, a BNP supporter, alleged Jamaat activists blocked their way to a polling center, triggering the clash. The elections in Bangladesh are clearly not a smooth sailing event, viewers. Voting was temporarily suspended at Alinagar School and College polling centers in Bhola Sadar after a cocktail blast around 12:15 p.m. Bangladesh time took place. Presiding officer MD Umar Farooq said a group of hooligans entered the center, detonated bombs and harassed officials, but caused no major damage. It was also reported that the group tried to seize ballot papers and one person was arrested. Aditya Vadhavan is back with me. Aditya, what can you tell us about this?
Well, absolutely, Vaishali. Indeed, at this juncture, several, several members of Jamaat-e-Islami and Bangladesh National Party were involved in a scuffle, as you had mentioned, in this particular village of Bangladesh. So clearly, at this juncture, it is very expected, during the polling process, such violence is done, to create a possibility of an unfair election process. So clearly, at this juncture, Vaishali, all these things under a very strict investigation as to how things unfold, because, to stop all the sorts of violence, so that there is nothing, there is no obstacle in this polling process is very, very essential. And the Bangladesh security forces and even the Election Commission of Bangladesh is ensuring that no untoward incident now from the remaining polling time takes place, because at this juncture, this is a very, very important Bangladeshi elections, and it needs to be seen what results will come once the voting is over and the results are announced. Vaishali.
Stay on with me, Aditya. Now, more locations in Bangladesh are witnessing violence. At least 23 BNP and Jamaat-e-Islami supporters were injured in clashes over alleged obstruction of voters in Mujibnagar, Joypur, and Gangzi Upazila's Saharbati, Tirel and Dhala villages in Meherpur. Police detained 3 people during the incident. At least 30 NCP members and a BTV journalist were injured in a series of attacks near polling stations across Noakhali's Hatia. The violence occurred between the morning and 1:30 p.m. Bangladesh time in several areas including Charimbar, Oshkali Bazar, Barichar, Jahazambara and Sunadia unions. Back to you, Aditya, on this big development.
Well, absolutely, Vaishali. If you see, these incidents of violence is very, very prevalent since the day one this interim government led by Mohammed Yunus has come at the helm of the affairs. And definitely, now this violence is spiraling during the polling phase. Such violence is being reported in several sensitive areas, because just prior to voting, there were several sensitive areas that were identified by the Election Commission of Bangladesh, and that these are some of the sensitive zones, where there is a likely possibility of violence, and that is what exactly is coming to the fore, Vaishali. So indeed, a lot of course correction is, needed by the concerned polling authorities in Bangladesh and the Bangladesh police, and it needs to be seen how many arrests are being will take place more, because the detentions have happened from these sensitive areas, in Bangladesh. So clearly, at this juncture, it is a wait-and-watch situation, and it needs to be seen how things unfold in this scenario.
Stay on with me, Aditya. We're getting more breaking news coming in, viewers. Reports of Bangladesh Army doing lathi charge at Brahanperia police polling station, are coming in. Importantly, booth captured complaint came in from this booth. Aditya Vadhavan is joining me. Aditya, what more can you tell us?
There are complaints coming in from, that there has been a problem, at the polling stations and several, and on these complaints, the Bangladesh police is entirely taking action with accordance, as per the law. And definitely, if you see, at this juncture, there are concerns as to how things unfold, because it's a very, very important elections, and such incidents are reported from various polling stations in Bangladesh, which have been identified as very sensitive polling zones. So clearly, at this juncture, it needs to be seen what action is taken in this regard. Vishali.
Thanks, Aditya, for joining me, and it's time for a short commercial break. We'll see you on the other side.